Good morning, investors and corporate. Welcome to SET Digital Roadshow first quarter of 2023 performance review. The session will run about 45 minutes, including Q&A. The company will start the session by 30-minute presentation, followed by 15-minute Q&A. During Q&A, investors may leave your question in meeting room chat box or use raise your hand function. We will open your microphone so you can ask the question to the company directly. May I now invite TPI POLENE Power Public Company Limited to start the presentation.
Okay, good morning, everyone. We are TPI POLENE Power Public Company Limited, or TPIPP. This is pretty much our first digital roadshow from the SET. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask after the presentation, or you can put your questions in the chat box on your right-hand side. Okay, my name is Thakapon. I am the Executive Vice President of the company. To my right is Miss Maria Lapis, who is the Vice President of the Corporate Relations Department. To not waste any more of your time, I would like to start the presentation. Okay. We are TPI POLENE Power Public Company Limited. This presentation will be divided into 4 parts. Miss Maria will cover the first part and half of the second part, and then I will do the rest. To move on, I would like to pass the microphone to Miss Maria.
Thank you, Thakapon, and good morning once again, everyone, and thank you for joining us in this first digital roadshow for TPI POLENE Power. So I will be taking care of the company and business overview, as well as part of the financial highlight for the first quarter. Since you may already have seen that part of the company's activities, it will be quite a quick run for that recap on the highlights. So TPI, last year we rebranded the group to refer now to technology, product, and innovation. I encourage everyone to cross-check with our presentation on TPI POLENE Power, as that one shows where the whole group is actually leading in many aspects of innovation. But technology, we will use cutting-edge technology and latest techniques. We have our in-house R&D supported by over 500 engineers, and we have been doing process and product innovation for a long time. So technology is the driving part of our product innovation. So what's our product? We aim to deliver a world-class product, and that answers to the customer's needs and in a very good value proposition. We would like to announce to everyone that in June 1st, we will make a major push towards green cement and building materials. And on the back of that effort is our renewable power capacity supporting the whole operations. Innovations, as I mentioned, we will use the latest innovation supported by our top-class R&D. We have in the group over 5,000 SKUs, and even within the power division, our processes is all driven by innovation. We never stop tinkering on our processes in order to achieve high efficiency and high calorific value as much as possible from the MSW that we process. So we are TPI POLENE Power, the leader of waste to energy with high efficiency and technology innovation. You can see us also leading in terms of EBITDA margin compared to other renewable power companies that is listed on the stock market. We aim to be green. We have a zero waste policy. So we use all the waste that comes to our production facility. We grow with a strong sense of corporate responsibility, and we contribute to the society wherever we can, be it in the landfill and using the garbage in the landfill, or also be it in the area of health, as we did in 2021 to 2022, whereby we helped the government dispose of the COVID-related waste. We are aiming for a sustainable development and a BCG economy. Like I said earlier, we are going for a zero waste policy. So the group in a snapshot, we have cement, concrete, LDPE, EVA, and then we have TPI POLENE Power supporting the whole power infrastructure of the group. Operating revenue in the first quarter was 3 billion, and about 1/3 of that flows into our operating EBITDA, and our profit is about 30% on an asset of 56 billion, and our market cap at the end of March was only 28 billion. So you look at our market cap, 28 billion, and our operating EBITDA annualized, you can see that we are relatively cheap as a business enterprise. So here is a snapshot of our capacity, which is, I think, very familiar to everybody. But what I would like to highlight at this point is that we are in the midst of major plant modification program, and this is where our CapEx is going to, aiming that by the time we are completed in 2026, we would get rid of our 150 megawatt coal-fired power plant, and we will be predominantly MSW driven. So we will be more green at that point in time. Our performance in terms of revenue, we are still very much divided into three. The biggest is power. Of course, we have side businesses in petrol and gas sales, but they are quite small in terms of overall revenue and EBITDA generation. So our largest customer is IGAT. This is on PPA basis. And then we have IGAT under other pricing system. This is much smaller now than before, if you notice, because 2 of our projects has other expired in last year. And then this is a sale to our mother company, which is 25% of our total revenue. Here is our performance. We see a slight uptick in our energy and utilities sales. This is because last year we had a lot of things going on. We had maintenance shutdown. We also have disruption from our plant modifications, as well as some optimization decision linked to the price of coal for our coal-fired power plant. But year on year, we are already up 5.5%. And bear in mind that last year we also saw the expiry of one of our power plant projects. So you can infer that behind this growth is actually volume driven. And okay, same thing with our power business. Now on our cost side, this is more or less the same picture that you see. Raw material is 45% of our total. On electricity used to burn the the waste is about 11%. So for us, the key cost element that we have to manage very well is the raw material. And as you can sense, our operation tend to have a fixed cost structure. So this is the only one that is very variable and can be managed can be optimized from a management point of view. Our gross profit is up significantly from last year, and our profit margin is about 39% versus last year, which was 31%. Remember that on a year-on-year basis, our revenue only grew 5.5%. So this is a reflection of the high operating leverage characteristic of our business. Expenses is a repeat of the last slide. The biggest for us is really cost of sales, is mostly materials. Our EBITDA margin is again reflecting once more the high operating leverage characteristic of our business. Last year we were close to 40%. This year we are hitting 44%, and this kind of margin we think we can achieve, and maybe even better in the subsequent quarters. Our profitability, you remember, we are about 1 billion for the quarter on a 1.3 billion EBITDA. So profit margin for us is quite high. If you look at this level of profit margin relative to other listed entities in Thailand in the renewable energy space, as well as renewable energy in the region, we are actually in tier 1 in terms of level of achievement on margin. So this is really just a snapshot of our financial in a different presentation. So you can see electricity sale under the base tariff was up 3.5% year on year, and significantly 35% on a Q-on-Q basis. And then you'll also see the collapse in the revenue with the other pricing by about 27% and 38%. This revenue that you see here is probably a very good basis for your estimates going forward, because the next other expiry is not gonna be anytime soon, maybe about 2 years down the road. So other sales, these are just like complementary services. Expenses, as I mentioned, we are mostly on the cost of goods of sales. This is mostly our material, raw material. Yeah, so finance costs, you can see a significant decline in our finance cost on a year-on-year basis. And this is reflecting the slight decline on our funding costs. And probably this year, our funding costs will drop a little bit more because our mother company received a TRIS rating upgrade in the first quarter of this year. So our subsequent refinancing, debenture refinancing, would probably be able to enjoy the coupon rate that is due for an A-rated company. On a standalone basis, our rating for TPI POLENE Power is A. But we couldn't access the funding cost of an A level because our mother company, up until the first quarter of this year, was rated at BBB+. So this year, we hope to see a cheaper funding cost. So our utilization, I mentioned to you, last year, first quarter, we were, our throughput was 462 million units. And it's up to 493. We probably are not gonna reach the last peak of 615, but most definitely we are aiming for a much higher throughput for the remainder of the year. If you go to our TPI POLENE presentation, we provide a guidance on our revenue and EBITDA, and you would see that for the power at least, we are aiming for a higher utilization rate throughout the year. So financials are not much to emphasize here because the company is actually very solid in terms of capital and funding structure. So our net debt, interest-bearing debt to EBITDA ratio is at 3 times. Our liabilities is at billion on a net basis. We sit on a high cash balance. If you remember our revenue and you look at this number, you would say, wow, this company is sitting on a huge cash position and it's costing us because it's debenture funded. This is a reflection of our conservative view over the financing outlook in the year, and also because we are in the midst of a major capex rollout, and we want to make sure that our funding is stable and unvisible. So our capex this year is already de-risked in a sense that funding is already in place. Net debt to equity is about 50%, so quite encouraging, whereas our coverage ratio on the basis of first quarter was about 8 or 9 times, which is also very solid. I would like to pass you to Kun Pakapon in this part of the presentation. Thank you.
Okay. First, let me start off by saying, as of right now, we have, I would say, 2 years ago, we have 3 PPAs with EGAT. Number one is for 18 megawatt. The other one is for 55, and the last one is for 90 megawatt. The first 2 EGAT that expired, the first one expired in January last year, and the other one expired in August of last year. The adder expired for the first 2 PPAs, but the last one will expire on April 2025, as Ms. Maria has mentioned in the first part. However, when the adder expires, there's what we call the FT. FT is a feed-in tariff, which changes every 4 months. This is the and the FT has increases tremendously since the end of 2021 due to the war in the Eastern Europe. Therefore, the energy prices increases a lot, and therefore the FT also increases in Thailand. And that is the FT for the first one was the FT for the PEA, Provincial Electricity Authority, and this one is the PEA for this one is the FT for EGAT, Electrical Generating Authority of Thailand. Now, I want to bring you to this page. Back in 2018, when our adder is still at full strength, with the 3 PPAs, however, the FT back then was still very low. So the net prices for our power plant that is sold to the government is actually 6.2 baht per unit. Now, in 2022, last year, these two parts of the 18 megawatt and the 55 megawatt is sold without the adder. However, the FT starts to increase a little bit. Therefore, the average price in 2022 is a little bit lower than 2018. However, in the first 4 months of this year, 2023, the FT has increased a lot. Therefore, we receive the full benefits of the high FT for all three contracts with the government. However, the adder for the first 2 for the 18 megawatt and the 55 megawatt is already over. So the price averaged to around 6.5 baht per unit. Notice that in 2023, without the first 2 adder, but with the high FT, the average price is still 6.5, which is higher than 6.2 with the high with all the adder but the low FT. So FT is actually more important than the adder even. And in 2023, for May till December, the FT starts to lower a little bit. However, the average price is still higher at 6.27 compared to 6.24 in 2018. And moreover, the electricity that we sold to the parent company is still 4.13 baht in 2023, which is higher than 2.97 in 2018. So what I'm trying to say is, even though the adder has expired, the increase of the FT has more than offset what the adder has expired. And this is kind of like a more snapshot of what I just mentioned. This year, the coal price saving is the lower cost of coal in 2022 compared last year to this year, and coal replacement is what I will explain in the next few slides of how we are using MSW instead of coal. And the FT is of course the increase in FT. The adder is of course the loss of the adder. And to sum all four bars on the left is this bar on the right, that the FT and the coal replacement and the coal price savings more than offset the adder that is lost comparing last year to this year. The revenue in this year will improve around 27.2% from last year. Now, and the new projects. We have the coal replacement, the solar and wind farm, and also the new PPA. Now, the first, the coal starting with the coal replacement. Since last year, we have started to replace some of our coal power plants with MSW. The first phase is finished in December. That is about saved about around 15%. The second phase is finished around December also, and that includes around another 10%. The third phase, another 15%, that just finished on April. However, there's still the fourth and the fifth and the sixth phases, 3 phases left, and that would be the remaining 60% of coal, and that should COD in all the way from August 2024 to the last one in April 2025. So by April 2025, or as Ms. Maria mentioned, the full year of 2026, we will be a coal-free power plant. Now moving on to our new projects. Our solar, first start off with our solar farm and the solar rooftop. We have 3 projects. The first one is 52, the install capacity is 61.22 megawatt. However, on an AC basis, it will be only 52.5 megawatt. That should COD in around 2024. The second one is also at our strawberry plant, 9.6 megawatt. That will be in 2025. And the last one is our solar rooftop, right next to our strawberry plant. That one will be 5.1 megawatt, and that will be COD in somewhere in 2024. And the wind turbine, the PPA is 5 megawatt, and it will COD somewhere in 2024 also. Next one is the new PPA that we have won bid for. The Songkhla provincial municipality has opened up a bid for us to bid to build a small waste to energy power plant there. We won the bid in early 2021. Excuse me. We won it for 7.92 megawatt. the COP is complete and actually the PPA has been signed. Right now we are waiting for the construction permit, which should come out somewhere in either June or July. Then we will start the construction. It should COD somewhere next year. And also the next one, which we won the bid in Nakhon Ratchasima province. That one is still under the COP process. The capacity is 9.9 megawatt. It will COD somewhere next year also, in 2024. And there's still 4 more projects that hasn't opened up the bid yet, and we are still running to bid for those projects. So to cap our new capacity, we have the 3 solar farms and solar rooftop COD in 2024 and 2025. Wind is 2024. Songkhla power waste energy power plant, and also Nakhon Ratchasima small waste energy power plant in COD in 2025. So our installed capacity in total will increase around 104.43 megawatt by 2025. Now, moving on to our 4th section, mission to net emissions. This is what we are doing for the society. First of all, I will start off with the COVID-19 waste. We are actually the first industrial complex that got the permission to get rid of the COVID-19 waste with the right kind of process in Thailand. This is the amount of waste that we have received since 2022 and all the way in 2023. Around 20 million tons of waste of COVID-19 waste. And this is our snapshot of how we are turning to a more greener power plant. Back in 2020, we have 440 megawatt. Our capacity, our coal capacity is 2020, which is 50% lower on coal. In 2024, or at the end of 2024, we will be 502 megawatt. Our capacity is around 150 megawatt, and so around 30% would be coal. And by 2026, we will increase to 538 megawatt, and 0 megawatt would be coal, or no electricity will be produced from coal. So 0% from coal, we will be a 0 carbon coal-free power plant by 2026. So we are getting rid of around 8,500 tons of waste per day in 2022 before December, of course, and then by 2000. So that equates to around 5.8 million tons of carbon dioxide. And in 2026, we will start to get rid of around 17,000 tons of waste per day, around 15 to 20% of the waste in Thailand. And that equates to around 12 million tons of carbon dioxide. And so the value of carbon credits in the European market is around 89.8 euros per ton of carbon dioxide, and in China it's around $7 per tons of carbon dioxide. So we have 12 million tons by 2026. Just time that number together. And carbon is still unseen. If you want to see like kind of like the pictures of what we are actually doing in 2020. This is the landfill site in Nakhon Ratchasima province. The top picture is in 2024. The bottom picture is in 2022. The fence is still the same fence. The light posts are still the same light posts. The roads is the same roads. So this is the exact same location. However, it's 5 years apart. We can get rid of this all of the waste in the top picture to now the bottom picture, and now after we can get rid of the entire waste site, the municipality government can use this landfill site for department store, police station, hospital, even public parks, anything that would create more value than just a landfill site. So not only that we are helping rid of the waste, we actually putting more value into the land. And this is the same thing. This is the landfill sites in Chonburi province in 2017 and in 2022. This is our certificate from the TGO, Thailand Greenhouse Gas Organization, for using waste. We get some tons of carbon credit for that, around 710,000 tons. So first of all, we have back in April 2017, we have around 82,000 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent approved by the Thailand Greenhouse Gas Organization. And we sold around 39,000 tons of carbon dioxide to a foundation in Germany. It's called Sekundes, or I can't pronounce that anyhow. Anyway, there's still 42,000 tons remaining. Add that to the 710 tons of carbon dioxide that already got approved, and then another 460 million tons of carbon dioxide under approval. That equates to around 1.2 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent that we have in our pocket. Now, the IREP verification. Not only the carbon credit, we also have the REC, which is the renewable energy certificate, which anybody who produce electricity from renewable sources can apply for. We already received 430,000 tons of REC, and another around 1 million is still under consideration. So in 2022, last year, we would receive around 1.4 million REC units, and those RECs can also be sold. So the carbon credits and the REC units are still the hidden assets of the company. We also received the award for most innovative green practice towards ESG in 2022 from the International Finance Award in London. And also the best product innovation for sustainable development for the Global Economics Award, also based in London. We also became the Thailand Sustainability Investment back in 2022 from the Stock Exchange of Thailand.
The session has come to the end. Thank you very much, investors and corporate, for joining the conference. If you do need further detail, please feel to drop us an email. Thank you very much.
One last comment that I would like to add for all the Thai investors, I would like to promote our analyst meeting on site, which we hold every quarter. I would love for you guys to join. Now I would put our contact person into the chat box for everyone to join. If you want to join our analyst meeting next quarter, please ask anyone. Please. If anyone wants to join, please please drop us an email onto here. Please drop your email into these two emails that I just put in the chat box, and they would definitely get you into the our analyst loop, our analyst email loop. So you will be notified next time we have a analyst meeting. Okay, so that will be it. I will pass the mic back to the Stock Exchange of Thailand.
Thank you very much ครับผมโอเคขอบคุณครับ